Welcome to Missing in Ohio, a podcast devoted to telling the stories of Ohio's missing loved ones. I am your host, Kelly Bruce, and this is Chapter 14, The Disappearance of Melissa Blevins. Southern Ohio is no stranger to missing women. Some have been found deceased, while others remain missing. People around the world have heard about Ohio's missing women through investigative TV shows on channels such as Oxygen and Spike. Many things have been discussed in the deaths and disappearances of these women, including a serial killer in Ohio and human trafficking. Investigators have even been able to connect some of these women to each other. Not only did some of these women know each other, but they also shared very similar lifestyles. Today, we are going to be discussing one of these women. Melissa Blevins is a missing adult from Portsmouth, Ohio. Melissa was last seen on February 21, 2010. She was 30 years old at the time of her disappearance and would be 40 years old today. Melissa is a white female that is approximately 5 foot 3 inches tall and 140 pounds with red hair and blue eyes. If you have any information on the disappearance of Melissa Blevins, please contact the Portsmouth Police Department at 740-353-4101. When I was asked by private investigator and owner of Anchored for Justice, Lily Paisley, to help investigate the disappearance of Melissa Blevins, I immediately agreed and went to the internet to gather as much information as I could. Sadly, there's very little information available. To gather more information, we began speaking to Cassie, the daughter of Melissa Blevins. You are now going to hear my previously recorded interview with Cassie and Lily. For investigative purposes, we are going to bleep out one of the names during this episode.
Let's start, and because there's not a lot of information online about your mom's disappearance, if you could just start with that and just give me a little bit of rundown of what you actually know about it.
Okay. When I was living with my stepdad, my mom went to jail, okay, and she signed her rights over to him for me, and then she got out of jail, and a couple days later, she went missing. We got a phone call from the sheriff's office asking if we have seen my mother, and we had to tell him no, because we haven't. And from there, I haven't seen her since.
So when I read online, it said, I believe it was on Charlie's project, it said that she was seen going to a store and then not seen again. So is that accurate or not?
I have no clue. I don't know if it was her ex-boyfriend that has seen her going to the store or if that's made up. Because honestly, I wasn't with her, but I just don't see my mother just running off and going somewhere and never coming back again, you know?
Right. So you would have been like 8 years old at the time, right?
Yeah, I was 7.
Was she in any relationships at that time of her disappearance that you know of?
She was in like 2 that I know of.
Were they good relationships? Were they troubled?
They were pretty bad.
Okay.
They were abusive relationships.
Right. So she was actually in both of them at the time of her disappearance, is what you're saying?
She was with for a little bit before she went missing. And then she went to Brian, and what I've been told, Brian was the last one to see her before she went missing. And he is the one that threatened her to take her life a couple days before she went missing. So in that couple days time frame, she was dating both of them. I've talked to like 2 detectives. First detective I talked to, he got my DNA, and he said that he didn't have anything new. And then I called a couple days ago and talked to Detective Steve Brewer, and he said he had nothing new. He said he looked into everything, but me personally, I feel like he hasn't.
Cassie, when your mom signed the rights over to your stepdad, why didn't she sign them over to your biological father, Jason?
Because he was not in the picture at the time. She was always arguing with him, so she wanted nothing to do with him.
Okay. Has he been in the picture since she come up missing?
Yeah. He moved to Florida.
Did you guys have a good relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other one is the two bad relationships that she had. Was threatened to take her life a couple days before missing?
Yeah. He was doing a tattoo on her. I can remember this clearly. And he got mad, and he would take it out on everybody. He even took it out on me. Like, he took my fish tank, he took it out into the yard on the sidewalk, and he smashed it. He took a baseball bat to the living room table. It was glass, and he shattered it. He used to just beat my mom all the time to the point where she had to go to the hospital. She went to the hospital a couple times because she was pregnant, and he beat her so bad that she lost the kids.
I have a quick question. We're going to go back just a little bit, but you said that she was arrested and she went to jail. What did she go to jail for?
I'm pretty sure that one was for child endangerment because she left me in the house by myself in the middle of the night with all the windows and all the doors open, and I woke up and I was crying and I was scared, and one of the neighbors heard it, and I had to go over to their house, and they called the cops. Well, the cops found her. She got a charge. And then the cops came to my house, and they arrested her. She went to jail.
Okay.
Because she was prostituting that night.
Lily, is there any connection to Melissa and Moran, sorry?
Not direct connection yet.
That's kind of what I was looking for, to see if we knew who represented her with that case.
Yeah, I did not see where Mike represented her at all. I know that Amber, her sister, said that she was in the courtroom for some other issue, and that Mike Moran went up to her and said, "I'm really sorry about your mom." So I don't know if Mike knows directly or if he read something, and Mike knows all the girls in the town.
Right.
He knows all of those that have a drug addiction, and he knows all of those that work on the streets, and he's directly connected to a lot. That statement alone does show that he did know Melissa. But I haven't yet been told that she's ever worked for him.
I want to say, even though I asked you about that, about your mom being in jail and stuff, there's no judgment here, and most of the cases I cover actually are a lot of people that have been arrested or were struggling with addiction, because a lot of the regular media does not give these people attention because of their lifestyle choices. And I want you to know that there's no judgment, and it's not going to be anything bad when we do this episode talking about her being in jail or anything. It's about finding your mom and getting answers.
Yeah, that's all I want. Now that I'm 18, I can make my own decisions on what I want to do with my mom and get it going,
Right.
Now, what about Brian, her relationship with Brian?
She was in the picture for a couple of days. He was pretty shady. A few nights before Mom went to jail, Mom kicked him out of the house because he took the keys to the house. And then she took him back, and they was arguing. But other than that, I don't really recall him ever being abusive or anything like that. But he was getting drugs and supplying her drugs, you know what I'm saying?
She was with him when she left, when she said that she was going to go to the store to get cigarettes.
Apparently, yeah, which I figured she would be. Because a day before she went missing, 2 days before she went missing, actually, we called her, Henry called her, the guy I was living with, to see if I could come up there and see her, because I haven't seen her in a while. And she told us to stop calling and to leave her alone because she is trying to sleep. And I said, you know what, if she's going to act like that because you don't have her drugs, I just ain't calling her for a couple of days until she cools down. Well, she tried to call us a few times within the next couple of days, And we didn't answer because we didn't know what it was about. We didn't want to start anything. And she was calling, apparently, because somebody went to jail, and she wanted to come spend the night with us. And then she went missing.
So you said earlier that the police called you to ask if you had seen your mom.
Yeah.
I guess I would need to, I'm trying to understand that a little bit more. Like, how was she reported missing?
That I have no idea about. I don't know who reported her missing. Some people say it was my grandpa, but I don't know. Just one night I was sitting there watching TV, and I answered the phone, and they asked for Henry, and that's when they started talking, and then he looked at me, and he goes, "Your mom's missing." And that's when I remember that day clearly, and I just broke down in tears. Because February 14th, we went down there, and we asked her to come out to dinner with us for Valentine's Day and just have a good time with her daughter, but she wouldn't do it. She was going to a neighbor's house on Boundary Street to get drugs.
Somebody had said that she got into a red truck, but I have in my notes it was a purple truck.
Well, at least we know it was a truck.
Yeah. Do you know anybody in Kentucky?
She knows some of my family in Kentucky. I lived in Kentucky at the time.
If your family in Kentucky knew that she was there somewhere, they would. There's a pretty good relationship that they'd be able to feel comfortable in telling you.
Oh yeah, they would tell me.
So is that why it says that she could be in Kentucky on the her paperwork?
Probably.
How about you tell me a little bit about, you know, your relationship with your mom, and like on a lighter note, you know, things you used to do, things like that.
Me and my mom's relationship together was kind of bumpy, but we had some good times together when she had some days off of drugs. A lot of the times we used to go to Pike Lake, and we rented a cabin, and we used to get to the park, and that was her happy days. And I really wish I could find the pictures of her from then, because I'd send them to you. A few nights I went and spent at her house, and she sent me home in the middle of the night because she couldn't do it no more. So, I mean, I've had a few good memories, but not many.
Well, I wanted to ask, Cassie, do you know how, when, what in the world happened to cause your mother to turn to drugs?
I think from when she was younger, her mother pushed her to that, because the stories that my mom told me when I was younger was that she tried to sell her for drugs. And a lot of the times when Mom went up there with her, that's all Kathy wanted her to do was prostitute and get her money for drugs. So I think that's what spiraled her into that.
And that all happened up in Marion County?
Yeah. See, right now, every time Kathy calls me, she's trying to get me to come up and live with her. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I know what you're trying to do.
Is she still into drugs then?
I think so.
Okay. And now what about Jeff? When her and Jeff got together, was she trying to stay away from drugs when they got married?
From what I've been told, when her and Jeff was together, all she did was smoke cigarettes. And then she had me, and then she got together with JR, and then JR got her into the loop of getting drugs from here in Chillicothe. And then that's when he lived on Arville Road in Bainbridge. She came to spend the night there all the time, because I remember that clearly, because I had to get out of bed all the time to go make the drug runs when I was laying in the back seat. And that's when her and Jeff kind of split their ways.
And when you say JR, are you talking about Brian?
Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, he goes by JR.
Okay. That's your stepdad.
Yeah. Do you know of any kind of searches that have been done for her? The detective told me that I talked to a few days ago that they did search the wells up there in Arville, and that's about it. But in my heart tells me that they haven't.
I know that I couldn't find, there's very little information about your mom online, period. And usually that's the case with some people, but I feel like hers is a little more vague than most cases. What would you like to see done, or how can we help you with this in any way, besides the podcast,
I just want to try to get answers, That's all I've been trying to get. But with the detectives in Portsmouth, it's not much for them because I don't think they care. And honestly, I think they're trying to cover up something with all the women that's been going missing in Portsmouth. Even Megan Lancaster, I think they're trying to cover up something.
Since our investigation into the disappearance of Melissa Blevins is ongoing, we will be doing follow-up episodes as our investigation progresses. Lily and I are currently planning several searches based on tips we have received, including searches with cadaver dogs. Melissa Blevins is a missing adult from Portsmouth, Ohio. Melissa was last seen on February 21, 2010. She was 30 years old at the time of her disappearance and would be 40 years old today. Melissa is a white female that is approximately 5 foot 3 inches tall and 140 pounds with red hair and blue eyes. If you have any information on the disappearance of Melissa Blevins, please contact the Portsmouth Police Department at 740-353-4101. Tips can also be called in anonymously to private investigator Lily Paisley by calling 740-252-6958 or by emailing missingpersonsinohio@gmail.com. On this segment of Missing in Ohio News, we are going to highlight the disappearance of Lachey Dungy. Lachey Dungy is a missing adult from Columbus, Ohio. Lachey, or Shay, was last seen on January 24, 2018. She was 19 years old at the time of her disappearance and would be 21 years old today. Lachey is a black female that is approximately 5 foot 9 inches tall and 140 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information on the disappearance of Lachey Dungy, please contact the Columbus Police Department at 614-645-4545. Anonymous tips can be submitted through Central Ohio Crime Stoppers by calling 614-461-TIPS. On January 24, 2018, Lachey Dungy spent her day job hunting. When she was finished, Shay hopped on COTA bus number 22 with the destination of Summit Street in Columbus, Ohio, near the Ohio State University campus. Shay exited the bus at 11th Avenue and 4th Street. She then began the 7-block walk to her friend's house on Summit Street. Throughout her trip, Shay was using Facebook Messenger to keep her friend updated on the progress of her walk. She didn't have a cellular data plan, so she was using the Wi-Fi from the COTA bus and accessing public Wi-Fi anytime she could. At 8:19 p.m., Lachey messaged her friend and told him her location. At 8:25 p.m., Shay messaged her friend again and asked him to unlock the door because she was getting close. That is the last message Lachey sent, and she has not been seen since. When 20 minutes had passed and Shay still had not arrived, her friend messaged her asking where she was. That message, along with the calls and messages that followed, all went unanswered. The Columbus Division of Police held a press conference on September 30, 2019 about Lachey's disappearance. Present at the press conference were Detective Jason Brammer and Lachey's father Dwayne and her stepmother Mia. Even though Detective Brammer did not comment on what he thinks happened to Shay, he did state that she was a very friendly person who was maybe lured into a situation she wasn't prepared for. He also stated Lachey was a free spirit and would often bounce around, staying with different relatives, and if Lachey was able to contact her family, she would. Lachey's father, Dwayne, referred to his daughter as friendly and independent. He stated she was very independent and wanted to show her dad she could do it on her own. Dwayne also mentioned that he used to always track Lachey's phone. Then he stopped since she had gotten older, and then this happened. Lachey's stepmother, Mia, describes her as fearless. She continued that if Lachey was in danger, she probably didn't even know it. After the press conference, and with being a little familiar with the Ohio State campus area, I began researching Lachey's last known location. It only took a quick internet search to find several articles about crime in the area. Crimes such as assault, rape, robbery, and vandalism were all listed in the articles. So what happened to Lachey Dungy in that short 7-block walk to her friend's house? As many of you know, I also planned the March for the Missing. It was originally scheduled for April 4th, 2020, but with the recent COVID-19 outbreak, we had to cancel. I will be rescheduling the event once we have an all clear from Governor Mike DeWine for large gatherings. I will post all updates on the March for the Missing and Missing in Ohio Facebook pages. Also, please check out my other podcast, Brian Schaefer, Dead or Alive. There will be new episodes in the next couple of weeks. If you have a missing loved one in Ohio and would like us to help you tell their story, please contact us at missingpersonsinohio@gmail.com. Missing in Ohio can be found on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to join our Missing in Ohio podcast Facebook group page where we discuss every case. Missing in Ohio now has a Patreon page. Through Patreon, you can donate as little as $2 a month. There are multiple donation tiers to choose from, some that will even give you the opportunity to be a guest on an episode of Missing in Ohio. The money that is donated will pay for the production of this podcast, planned missing persons event, and many other things to help raise awareness. Our Patreon page can be found at patreon.com/missinginohio. If you would prefer to make a one-time donation, you can do so through our new PayPal page by using our email address, missingpersonsinohio@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to Missing in Ohio, Chapter 14, The Disappearance of Melissa Blevins. Tune in next time for Chapter 15.